Hey, it is VBS season. I mean, it's a lot of seasons right now, summer, etc. But it's VBS season. I know everybody's excited, and I was going to make up some like funny VBS themes. And I invite you out there, our listeners, give us some great, hilarious, ironic, whatever it is, or real VBS themes. We'll read them and talk about them on air. So please submit that any way which way you can, however you listen to this podcast. Rate us too, by the way, when you do that. 5 stars, 1 star, whatever. But give us some VBS themes. I'd love to see them. But I just pulled this up. Like, these are real VBS themes. I think they're funny enough. So the goal of VBS, I thought, was teaching people, quite frankly, Jesus died and rose for you, and maybe doing some instruction and a theme of David's life or something like that, or Jesus' life or whatever. But we're getting off the rails as we go into the first one here. Rocky Mountain Railroad Vacation Bible. I don't know what the connection is. Kingdom Rock makes sense. Tell me if you guys see something crazier. Life in the Wild VBS theme.
I think my church actually did that one a couple years ago.
These might be CPS. Inventors Laboratory. I just think that's getting. What are we doing there?
Did
Inventors
CPH
Laboratory.
I like Spy.
Look at the Spy one.
I do like the Spy.
It's pretty cool.
I would have gone to that VBS if I had a Spy thing.
Academy. We're going to teach that as tuck and roll and Spy.
Ready to be rescued. Is that like a Pentecostal? Like, I'm ready to make my conversion to Jesus.
I mean, that could be Blast Off Space.
That's actually a preteen, like pre-puberty. VBS theme.
What are they evangelizing? Do I see any like Martians on there? Take the plunge. I don't know. Take the plunge. What is that? Seems odd.
And then why is she dressed in like a grass hat?
I don't know. What is this? What is this? It's like a Hawaiian cowboy Mexican thing or something. Is that like a new taco place? Underwater Discovery.
New York City Adventure. What?
And here's just items that you know you're going to need at these VBS, I guess.
Like the pirate goblet
sold out.
Oh, pirate goblet.
It's sold out.
Yeah.
I'm looking at like meet me under the sea personalized centerpiece.
Right above the pirate goblet. Inventors Laboratory. It's just a bottle of water and wet wipes.
Whoa. Like, I think, Tyler, this might be a good spot to pick up some inexpensive like table decorations for your wedding.
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Right?
I was going to say, I actually
pirate
this
goblets
website for one of my DCE classes last semester.
That's good.
I love that it's called Stumps Party. It sounds like something that like some hillbilly like might have out in the hills. He lost his hands in like a fireworks accident. This is Stumps Party. Like, hey, welcome to Stumps Hollow.
It seems totally. I think it's just kind of. It's like Christmas. It's gone off, and now it has nothing to do with Jesus or anything. Now we're just way out there.
I'm
looking for like
most of these are legitimately just bottles of water, like the items to buy. It's just water bottles with labels on it. Like,
here's some labels for you. Why don't you just buy some stickers and print them out yourself?
All right. I don't know. Anybody have some great memories of your own? I mean, that's that. You go to VBSs and you're spending more money on all those prop things and you're dressing up and you're getting off to the point where you're spending almost all your time teaching people about kangaroos than actually Jesus because you need to, because that's what it's about or something. It's insane.
I think my favorite VBS as a kid, we built race cars like out of wood, like ones that you could sit in. And so every day was working with saws and hammers. And I built like a little push cart car that I could ride in.
And then the next year was a Stumps Party.
Jesus, but I did have this pretty sweet like push car thing that I could ride in and did. Like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
I think in Haiti there's a fun VBS theme. It's called Middle Class America, and so it's just like it's just houses and healthcare, and you just kind of learn what it's like to live in a normal place.
That's like those mission trips, right? Where people raise up like 10 grand so that they go to some third world country and do VBS for the kids and then
take
post
pictures with kids
pictures all self-righteously online and be like,
let's get serious here. Let's tone it down a little bit.
I'm sorry.
Let's let the Holy Spirit have a word here. All right. Denominations. People have been saying that the end of denominations is coming. I think we probably have some thoughts on that or have experienced a transitioning time in the denomination world and I think it has to do with people's understanding of denominations, like that they're a part of a group. I think that might be lost I don't know why. Maybe this is a good thing that people don't know they're a part of a denomination, or maybe it's a bad. I think Lutherans, I think LCMS, I think we have a correct perspective on denominations. I would say we don't believe in denominations. There's no such thing as denominations, as Nagel, I believe, said. There are no denominations. That means there's different types of currency. When you think of denominations, we would say there aren't different types of churches, but there are, in like reality. Is this good? Is it bad? Thoughts, comments on that? Because I think we've been living this for a little while and it's getting, I don't know, better or worse. I don't know. What do you think, Paul? Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. It's funny. We were just having a conversation last night at a study here at my congregation about some of these ideas. I think that there's certainly like a weakening, if you will, or there has been for a long time, of kind of what we all grew up knowing as like mainline denominations, right? So you're in the Enlightenment, I think, in the Second Great Awakening and those things, it was called like the Old Lights, like so it was the Church of England and your Congregationalists and your the Lutherans to some extent, Methodists for sure. But like in Rome, like these things are sort of they're not the powerhouses they once were, or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I think there's definitely truth to that. I mean, I think the stats probably bear that out. I think for us, so I think we probably tend to see this as a good thing. That not that it's ending. Like, so in other words, it's good to have organizational structure around an enterprise like a church. It ensures, so I'll just use myself for example, it ensures this congregation that they have a pastor who truly focuses his time on caring for them. Like I don't worry about, say, my retirement. I don't worry about my health care. I don't worry about paying my bills, really. Like anybody in some other job, there's financial security in this endeavor, and a big part of that comes from collective work of a denomination, right? That these churches have got together to say, no, we're gonna have healthcare plans, we're gonna do these sorts of things, we're gonna have standards for pay, all that kind of stuff. That's all real tangible things that make the work easier, if are more stable, let's put it that way, which is good for the whole of the congregation. And yet I think it's also good that we see that there's not this allegiance. Like also, so again, in my example here would be, we have a whole bunch of people here, and I imagine your church even probably more so, Joel, being in the city the way it is, that are not, they're not members of this church. Like they're here all the time. They worship here. They they commune. They're part of this fellowship, but they have no real desire to kind of formally become a member in that regard, right? And I think, like, for myself, even, I'm kind of like okay with that. It's like, well, that's fine. It doesn't really, like, it's not going to keep me up at night or bother me. The more important thing is that you're here and you're part of this fellowship, and so those other things kind of become secondary. And I think it's also good then, because we can look critically at our denomination or at our organization, and we can say, hey, there's good things here, but there's things we don't like, and that's fine. And we could, just last night I said to them, I said, listen, you need to be careful if you don't go to this church, if you go to some other church, if your church, if there's two things that they won't do, if they won't entertain serious questions and challenges to what they practice and what they teach, right? If they won't, actually have those conversations. And number two, if they won't laugh at themselves.
Yeah.
If those two things aren't there, then you should go somewhere else, because it's probably a cult. It's not, it's not the thing, like, it's something else.
That's good. And I really like that.